Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Last night was one I'll never forget. My friends and I decided to go out to this club downtown. It was a Friday evening, and the club was alive with energy. The music was loud, with beats that made you want to dance. We were all just looking to have a good time, nothing special, just friends hanging out. As I moved through the crowd, I noticed her. She stood out with her bright smile and the way she danced. We started talking, and it felt like we'd known each other for years. She had this spark in her eyes that drew me in. Oh, we spent the whole night dancing and chatting, losing track of time. When the club was about to close, she invited me to her place. I thought, why not? It's been a fun night, and it could be nice to hang out a bit more. So we left the club and headed to her house. Her house had a cozy feel to it. We sat on the couch, talked some more, and she brought out a couple of drinks. We were both laughing and enjoying the night. It was nice, really nice. She then mentioned something about crossdressing. I had no idea what that was. She saw the puzzled look on my face and explained it was when someone dresses up in clothes typically worn by the opposite gender. Then, out of the blue, she asked if she could dress me up. I was a bit surprised, but I thought, I'm here to have fun, why not? So I agreed, and she seemed really excited about it. She pulled out an eye patch from somewhere and covered my eyes with it. I couldn't see anything, but I could hear her moving around, fetching different things. First, she helped me into some undergarments that felt different from what I was used to. They were softer, more delicate. Then she slipped a dress over my head. It was a weird feeling, but not uncomfortable. I could hear her giggling as she helped me put on a pair of heels. I never realized how tricky it could be to balance in those. Lastly, she put a wig on my head. It was a blonde one, and it felt strange to have long hair brushing against my shoulders. When she finally took off the eye patch, I looked in the mirror. The person staring back was me, but not me. I was dressed like a girl, and it was so odd yet funny in that moment. I couldn't help but laugh. We spent the rest of the evening just goofing around. She called me Jordana, and we pretended to be two girls having a sleepover. She did my makeup, showing me how to apply lipstick and eyeshadow. It was all so new to me. Walking in heels was the hardest part. I stumbled a few times, but she held my hand and guided me until I got the hang of it. It was strange, but in that moment, it all just felt like a silly game. We laughed so much my stomach hurt. It was like we were in our little world, away from everything else. Eventually, we got tired. The room was quiet except for our breathing. We both fell asleep right there in the living room, still dressed up, still in our pretend world. The last thing I remember was the softness of the lace against my skin and the faint smell of her perfume in the air. I woke up the next morning, still in the dress and the wig. My head was spinning a bit from the drinks, and it took me a moment to remember where I was. I kept thinking about how much fun I had pretending to be Jordana. It was like playing a game where I could be someone else for a little while. I remembered how she had carefully put makeup on me. She showed me how to use lipstick, which was tricky, but exciting. The lipstick was bright and made me look so different. Then there was the eyeshadow, which she put on my eyelids with a little brush. It tickled a bit, and I had to try not to blink too much. Walking in heels was the hardest part. At first, I stumbled and almost fell over, but she held my hand and helped me. It was funny trying to walk in those tall shoes. I felt like I was going to tip over at any moment, but she kept encouraging me, and eventually I got a little better at it. We laughed a lot as we pretended to be two girls having a fun night. She even gave me a blonde wig to wear. It was so strange having long hair that wasn't really mine. It felt light and swished around when I moved my head. But now, in the morning light, everything seemed different. I wasn't sure what to think. It was all just supposed to be fun, but now I felt a mix of happy and confused. I looked at myself in the mirror again. The dress, the wig, the makeup, they all made me look like a different person. It was like looking at a photo of someone else, but it was me. After a while, I decided it was time to go home. I didn't know where she had gone, and the house was very quiet. Walking home in the dress and heels was strange. The streets were almost empty, so not many people saw me. The few who did gave me funny looks, but I didn't mind too much. I was still feeling happy from all the fun we had. When I got home, I didn't change right away. I just sat there, thinking about the night. It was like I had discovered a secret part of myself that I didn't know was there. I felt different, but I couldn't explain how. The clothes were still comfortable, even though they were not what I usually wore. Then, out of nowhere, I had an idea. What if I got more clothes like these? I grabbed my laptop and started looking online. There were so many different dresses, shoes, and wigs. It was overwhelming, but also exciting. I picked out a few things that looked nice: a red dress, some black heels, and a brown wig. I clicked the buy button before I could change my mind. After I ordered the clothes, I started to feel nervous. What had I just done? Was I really going to wear these clothes again? I thought about what my friends would say if they knew. Would they laugh? Would they think it was weird? I took off the dress and wig and put my regular clothes back on. I felt a little sad taking them off, but I also knew I had to go back to normal. I couldn't go around wearing a dress and wig all the time. The next few days were a whirlwind of thoughts and feelings. I kept thinking about the night I became Jordana and how much fun it was. It felt like a game, but also something more. I was nervous about the clothes I ordered online. What if someone saw the package? What would I say? Finally, the day came when the package arrived. My heart was racing as I opened it. Inside were the red dress, the black heels, and the brown wig I had chosen. They were just like the pictures online, but seeing them in real life was different. I held the dress in my hands, feeling the smooth fabric. It was so different from my regular clothes. I waited until it was late and everyone was asleep. Then I quietly tried on the dress and the wig. Looking in the mirror, I saw Jordana again. It was strange and exciting. I walked around my room in the heels, trying not to make too much noise. It was fun to be Jordana again, even if it was just in my room. I twirled around, watching the dress flare out. It felt like a secret adventure, something just for me. I remembered how the girl had taught me to do makeup, so I tried to do it myself. It wasn't perfect, but I was proud of myself for trying. After a while, I changed back into my regular clothes and hid the dress, heels, and wig in my closet. I felt a mix of happy and scared. It was like I had a secret part of me that no one else knew about. Over the next few days, I thought a lot about what it meant to be Jordana. It was more than just dressing up. It was like I could be a different person, someone who was fun and free. But I also worried about what others would think. It was confusing to have these two sides of me. One night, I decided to write about my feelings. I took out a notebook and started writing. I wrote about the night at the club, about meeting the girl, about becoming Jordana. Writing it down made it feel more real. It was like I was telling my story to someone, even though it was just a notebook. I kept dressing up as Jordana at night when I was sure no one would see. Each time I felt more comfortable and more like myself in a way. It was like discovering a new part of me that I didn't know was there. Sometimes I would just sit in my room wearing the dress and wig and think about everything. I wondered what the future would be like. Would I keep being Jordana? What would happen if someone found out? Waking up that morning, I felt different. The sun was shining through the curtains, casting light on the dress and wig lying on my chair. It was like they were reminding me of the fun I had being Jordana. But now, in the daylight, I felt unsure. I sat on my bed, thinking about everything. Being Jordana was like being in a different world, a world where I could be whoever I wanted. But now, back in my everyday clothes, I felt like I was hiding something. It was a weird feeling, like having a secret that no one else knew. I remembered the fun I had walking in the heels, twirling in the dress, and trying on makeup. It was all so new and exciting. But there was also a little voice in my head that was worried. What if my friends found out? What if they laughed at me or thought I was weird? I decided to go for a walk to clear my head. Outside, the world was busy. People were going to work, walking their dogs, and kids were playing in the park. It was like any other day, but I felt different inside. As I walked, I thought about the girl from the club. I wondered what she would say if she saw me now, walking around in my regular clothes, looking like just another guy. Would she recognize me as Jordana? Then I thought about my friends. They knew me as just Jordan, the regular guy who liked sports and video games. They didn't know about Jordana. I felt a little sad thinking about it. It was like I had this fun, exciting part of me that they couldn't see. I walked for a long time, just thinking and watching the world go by. When I got back home, I looked at the dress and wig again. They were more than just clothes. They were a part of me now, a part I was still trying to understand. That evening, I dressed up as Jordana again. It felt good to be back in the dress, to feel the fabric against my skin. I looked in the mirror and smiled. This was me too, not just Jordan, but Jordana. I realized that I didn't have to figure everything out right now. It was okay to just be myself, whoever that was. Maybe one day I would share Jordana with my friends, but for now, it was my little secret. I danced around my room, feeling free and happy. It was like I could be anything I wanted to be. And right now, I just wanted to be Jordana, twirling in my red dress with the world outside my window. Days passed, and the secret of Jordana became a normal part of my life. Every evening, when the world outside calmed down and the stars twinkled in the sky, I would transform into her. It was my special time, a time when I could just be me, or rather, be Jordana. I started getting better at doing makeup. I learned how to put on eyeliner without poking my eye and how to choose the right lipstick color. It was like doing art on my face, and I felt proud every time I got it right. The red dress and the brown wig weren't just clothes anymore. They were like friends. They made me feel happy and free. Sometimes I would just sit in my room, reading or listening to music, dressed as Jordana. It was comforting, like being wrapped in a warm blanket. One day I was sitting in my room looking at the clothes I had ordered online. I thought about how much had changed since that night at the club. I used to be just Jordan, a regular guy with a simple life. But now there was also Jordana, a part of me that loved dresses and makeup. The next day, I got an idea. I wanted to make Jordana more than just a secret. I started looking up ways to make clothes. I found some videos online and watched them, learning about sewing and designing. It was hard at first, but I was determined. I started with something simple, a skirt. It wasn't perfect, but I made it myself, and that felt amazing. I wore it around my room, feeling proud and excited. It was like Jordana was becoming even more a part of me, a part that I had created. I kept practicing. I made more clothes, each one a little better than the last. My room started to fill up with fabrics, threads, and my homemade creations. It was like a colorful, happy mess. Life was great. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.